Ma'am, I have tremendous news.
What have you found? And also, do buy the books. There may be teachings in them.
I talked to the entity you told me about. Her name is Niha, and she's a novelty dice maker.
A novelty dice maker? Well, spit it out. Why does she need the dice? For some kind of sorcery? Sometimes they use the ankle bones of sheep.
No, ma'am. I felt her aura. She is not the one to blame for this curse.
I don't understand. If it's not her, then where is the source of the doom? How did she explain the curse?
The narrative she's built herself, it does need tearing down. She's squeezing on the pendant too tight. A drop of blood in her palm. Just don't say you don't have any answer yet. The uncertainty is killing her. To hell with it. Perchance you ought to just lie, sire. You've come this far. You know how to end it. There is an entity behind the entity.
What a tremendously long interaction. Every part of our subconscious went for it there. Let's see. I am tempted to say there's another more malignant entity. But perhaps that would be needlessly cruel to say. But it is quite funny. She said it's just capitalism. Bankruptcy is a quirk of our economic system.
Wait, what? The entire economic system is cursed?
Tremendous that that's the takeaway that you had from that sentence, but you are absolutely correct.
This is a lot for her to pass.
Okay, the second option was quite the pivot that I wasn't expecting. I'm afraid that only world revolution can help you.
Another revolution?
She looks down at the pendant in her trembling hands. She collects herself.
I understand what's going on here. You went in there, rummaged around, and accomplished nothing. And now you're telling me these intellectual things to cover up for it.
I'm telling you the objective truth, which is that capitalism is bad, actually.
It's okay. You don't have to. I was wrong to trust another person. I will manage this psychic calamity as I always have. Alone. On my own. Thank you for nothing. Please, do buy some books, or be on your way.
Wow. Total psychic collapse between you two right now.
I am sorry we had to disappoint you, ma'am. Can we go now?
The shop around you feels ancient suddenly, damp and saturated by the coastal air. The books are rotting. A great cold lives here, and there too, 1,200 meters away on the urban coast. The dark shape of a church is reflected on the water, calling.
I see. We will have to visit this haunted church. Perhaps that will be the source of the more malignant entity that we have yet to discover. Ma'am, have you located your husband? You were right that I'm a cockatoo.
Excuse me?
I went and read up on them, just like you said, and I even decided on what kind of cockatoo I am. Want to know?
I don't know. The most talkative one?
No, I'm the Major Majestic Cockatoo.
The what now?
The Major Majestic Cockatoo. It's the most impressive one.
You truly are one strange cop, aren't you?
Yes.
The woman before.
Goodbye. Alright, let's go speak to Everard again. Then we need to speak to Joyce. And then we'll see when it comes to it after that. I do wish it would tell me if it was Wednesday so I could know if the gate was open, but it's okay. We have other things to do regardless. Please let me in, thank you. Everard, my friend. Please talk to him.
Mr. Dubois, every worker...
Is an organ in the great organism of war. Also, looks just like me.
Eh? Why the hell not? Now, how can I help you today?
I've just finished investigating the local drug trade.
Ah, yes. Your side investigation. Thank you. You've got some spirit clearing up phony drug accusations alongside this murder. I'll talk to the mayor and see if I can get you the key to the city, Harry. Now let's talk real business.
Not even a speck of anger in his voice. That's that then.
I opened the door, you asked me. Can we discuss the murder now?
I'm very glad to hear that, Harry. One question. You didn't actually happen to stumble in and see what's inside the apartment, did you?
He's trying to figure out if you're lying. There is no way to sway this man in any direction. He is unsuggestible and unswayable. Just tell the truth.
Fair enough. First, though, could unlock one more thought cabinet. Probably just level up something. But which one? It's always such a difficult decision. Let's do rhetoric. I did go inside. Weasel had the flag of the old Revachol on the wall.
Exactly the kind of fascist memorabilia I was expecting. Weasel probably prays to it every night for the downfall of the Union.
He was testing you, and you succeeded.
I am quite exceptional.
Now let's get down to brass tacks. It's time for men like me and you to figure out who's killed who and why. Real police work is gonna start happening now. I promise you, Harry, this is gonna be good.
There was a collection of colonial mugs there, and I found a similar mug in the trash with the hanged man's clothes.
Racist mugs in the trash and in the apartment? You guys are just light years ahead of me. I have so much confidence in the ability of your organization. I'm relieved you're doing this and leaving me to do what I do best. Helping people. With the power of politics.
Yes. Do you think this weasel is somehow connected to the murder?
Oh, no. I don't cross paths like that. All I want is for you to succeed in your investigation. I would never complicate things for you.
Oddly, it seems to be true.
Honestly, that seemed like a pretty legendary dodge, to be honest, right there. But this weasel might have cleaned up after the killers.
Believe me, Harry, he's a nobody. Just your basement variety nobody. Can't imagine him being connected to a high-caliber case like this.
You seem a little too against the idea. It makes me more suspicious.
But he does live nearby. Maybe it's a pedantic weasel. Fascists are known to be neat freaks. I feel like a real detective right now, Harry. Am I getting this right?
He imitates bashing something with an imaginary baton. Say nothing.
Of course, Harry. Stoke silence. I like that. Very befitting a police officer. I'm not a real detective. You are.
I've heard about a connection between the lynching and the strike. I'd like to hear what you know about it.
By now, I'm sure you've figured out who the dead man was working for. The bad guys. Wild Pines. Sent to scare us. Another violent measure of the top hats against us flatcaps.
I'm listening.
Harry, this strike is the culmination of many mistakes made by the Wild Pines group. They tried to shut the strike down by sending in armed mercenaries.
Remember to stay hydrated.
You mean our victim?
A security contractor? Can you imagine that? Workers standing in peaceful protest, united in the spirit of fellowship, and they send hired killers to mow us down with machine gun fire?
Well, that doesn't sound like exactly what happened.
He performs a motion as if spraying bullets from a machine gun.
I'm talking beasts, hardened killers from proxy wars in Yisut, Semenine, Saramaritsa, you name it, they've done it. Raping, killing, burning villages, killing little children for the Senorita Pineapple Company, Harry. Everything they did there, they brought over here. They want to turn Revachol into a third world slum. Honestly, the only thing they didn't do is kill the village elephant.
Hold on, you have a village elephant?
No, Harry, the elephant is metaphorical and so is the village, but the mercs and their brutality are very real.
Go on.
Now, I haven't personally witnessed the brutalities out there. I have the luxury of staying in my container, you see. If I need to go somewhere, they just move my container.
Wait, they moved the container?
Yes, I'm an old man, Harry. My legs aren't what they used to be. They lift my office with that big crane. It's actually very fun. You should try it. But enough about me and my fun container. The killers the company hired, I think there were 3 of them, all hardened commando types.
Where are the other 2?
One of them got downright suicidal, getting drunk, violent, a little rapey. Even their own negotiator couldn't control him. That's your boy, the one who likes hanging out and trees.
It's weird that you're so eager to point out the essay when the Hardy Boys were very upset that they had let us find that out.
By negotiator, you mean Joyce?
Harry, what you need to realize is, we dock workers are not pushovers. We got grit, Harry. This whole neighborhood does. Push us hard enough and we push back. And when we do, we push to kill.
Wait, the whole neighborhood is in on it?
Potentially, Harry, potentially. We got arm wrestling champions, rowing club people, ex-coal miners, tough guys, all ready to spring into action for their home base.
Who exactly did the pushing?
There's a militant wing inside the Union. A group of people whose duties don't involve manual labor, but peacekeeping in the neighborhood, making sure everything runs smoothly.
That sounds a bit like organized crime.
They're like you guys. Idealistic people who want to make sure bad things don't happen. And if they already have, well, punishment must follow.
Again, that sounds like organized crime.
So these idealists killed our victim?
One day Titus Hardy, leader of this peacekeeping faction, comes up to me and says, "Boss, socialist democratic fervor drove us to take it upon ourselves to kill this beast that was burdening the land."
Seems hard to imagine that Titus said that.
He probably worded it differently, but that was the idea. Sure sounded to me like they killed him. I gave them 2 weeks paid leave and told them to lay low to avoid retaliation.
The police approach.
Aren't you worried we might arrest them for this?
Oh, I'm not at all worried about that. These are not the kind of men who get arrested. They're Martinez boys, tough and gritty. I'd like to see the man who takes them in. Besides, I sent my lawyer girl to look after them.
If he's just boasting, then it sure doesn't feel like that to you. He's not worried. He places a lot of faith in that lawyer girl. Perhaps this is a tactical error. Anyway,
There was a bullet in the hanged man's head.
So they shot him.
He was shot in the head before he was hanged.
How odd. I don't know what to say, Lieutenant. They told me they hanged him. A hanged man is what I saw when I took a look into that yard.
it's impossible to say if he's telling the truth, sire.
What I do know is, the case is in safe hands. If anyone can get to the bottom of this shot and hanged man, it's my 2 little policemen. Godspeed, policeman.
How do you know the mercenaries were hired by the shipping company?
How do I know? Let me tell you about these people. That's their MO. It's what they do. Last winter, some poor workers in Terminal E went on a little strike. The company sent in Sediment, a security contractor. The strike was over the workers' right to wear protective footwear, Harry. These guys turn up and start beating people. Tell you what, Harry, I wouldn't be surprised if we got the same mercenary company. After a little rebranding, and I'm sure as hell not surprised to see an army of scabs under my gates.
So you believe the scabs were organized by the security contractor?
You said it. Hell, one of those guys looks big enough to take down that proverbial elephant. Boys like that don't just happen to show up during strikes.
The name of the company is Crenell this time. It might have been Sediment before.
Of course. You're always one step ahead of me, Harry. I'm no genius. I'm in this position because people like me.
You mentioned a lawyer girl?
Oh, Liz is a bright one. I paid for that law degree myself, thinking it'll probably turn her all fancy. But hell, Harry, she came back a firebrand socialist. Sometimes she scares me with her zeal.
Tell me about Titus Hardy and his crew.
Oh, they are simply fine young men, all 7 of them. Exemplary union members, always working to advance their position in the local socialist democratic movement. Core members. Old Theo used to run them, but things really kicked into gear when Titus took the reins and named the group after himself. Gotta love his initiative.
Interesting. Who's second in command?
They're almost all of them great guys, born leaders. Whatever happened, I'm sure they only had the best interests of Martinez and Revachol in mind.
I don't think that's what you were asked.
Work with them. Hell, interview them. But don't fight them. They really are just like you. Men who like beer, women, and some order on the streets.
He's betting on them being useless to you.
Evart, I've met these Hardys. Can you ask them to cooperate with me?
But of course, it's the least I can do for my good friend Harry. I'll do it right after we've concluded this talk. Also, Harry, here's 5 real.
Wait, why are you giving it to me?
I'm not giving you anything. I'm just holding out 5 real.
I don't need it. I only want you to help me with the Hardy boys.
Oh, I wasn't offering it to you, just holding it out there. But I'm willing to share information. Was there anything else?
Good talk. Let's conclude for now.
Was it a good talk? I'm not sure we made much headway here. I was hoping we'd bust the case wide open. Heck, I even wanted to tell you what I really want to achieve with the strike. I don't know what happened, Harry. I wanted you to feel like Mr. Martinez. And of course, I also wanted you to find your gun. But it's like I can't completely trust you. Yet.
Yet?
Yes, Harry. It's like I can't fully trust you if you're not a man of the left. I want to, but I just can't.
A man of the left, so you have to be a social democrat. He's been hurt too much in the past by men who aren't social democrats.
I'm a hustler. I grind. I'm a money engineer. What's that supposed to mean? I'm more left than you are.
You're saying it, but I don't believe you. You know how it is, company snitches, agent provocateurs everywhere. I'm barricaded in this fortress of mine, and I need to get a message out. Will you help me?
And what would this entail?
Once again, I require nothing unethical or illegal of you. You just need to get 2 little signatures on this piece of paper, and then mail it to my accountant in La Delta.
Okay, what do you think of this?
It depends. I don't think what we just got from Mr. Clare was very useful.
But, he thinks, it's your call.
As I said, it weighs on me heavily. But once we get really talking, well, I'm going to hand you the keys to Martinez, and maybe even help you figure out who's behind this killing.
He's saying as little as possible, as vaguely as he can, deliberately omitting things.
What are these signatures for?
I'm glad you asked, Harry. The Union is going to build a modern youth centre in Martinez. It will be righteous. We're gonna get those teenagers off drugs and on roller skates. There's a nameless little street on the coast with some old houses around it. Most people have already signed. I just need 2 more signatures to get this mission off the ground, Harry.
Where is this place?
On the coast, Harry, across the canal. There's a cul-de-sac there, a little village they're calling it. A gloomy place. You'll find it. I trust your detective skills, Harry.
Water drips from the eaves. A woman looks at her freshly tarred skiff. There's a pair of cavalry boots under the fish in the box, and the wind howls like a vicious spirit.
What'll happen to the current occupants?
They are just gonna have to deal with the construction noise for 6 months, and then they'll be living like kings. Right next to a fancy new youth centre, designed by the best architects from Stella Marie.
Is he absolutely sure the tenants won't be thrown out in the street?
Are you 100% sure no one's gonna end up homeless?
Am I? Harry, these people, Martinez is the most important thing in my life. I would never let anything bad happen to them. We're gonna build a youth centre there. The value of their properties goes up and kids have a place to play in. I'm looking out for these people, not pulling the rug from under them, Harry. I'm looking out for all of Martinez, not just the harbour.
He means it.
Alright, fine. If I happen to be there, I can ask them.
You bring joy to my heart, Harry. Such a pleasure to be working with you. Here. You need to get signatures from Isabel Sadie and Lillian Carter. The cul-de-sac is right past the pawn shop and across the canal. I heard there was some trouble with the water lock, but it should be fixed now.
Okay, it is Wednesday.
Once you have the signatures, mail this to 13022 La Rocca in La Delta. Then I'll know you're a solid socialist.
What are in these options
Let's
that are
hear
not
it,
grayed
Harry.
out? Okay, nothing
Of
there.
course, most certainly.
Nothing in
By all
either.
means.
Alright, goodbye.
See you soon.
Alright. Well, now we might as well stop in and see if the Hardys will say anything different. Then we'll go talk to Joyce. Then we'll go across the harbor. Alright, you feeling more cooperative yet?
It's you again. What is it?
Me and Evart talked. He promised you'd cooperate.
Oh, so you went and talked to my mommy, and now she's making me play with you. Is that it, lawman?
And what's gonna happen if we don't? You're gonna go and tell on us?
Very mature guys. Everett sent word, right?
Yeah, I heard him. Now fuck do you think I'm doing here? You'd have your ass handed to you if it wasn't for the boss man's word. Let me state this very clearly, Capo. Hello, officer. I'm Titus Hardy, and these are my boys. Hardy boys. How may we assist you?
But having Everard back you up like that did seem to have some effect.
Alright, I want to talk about the hanging again. Ugh.
Again,
Okay.
about
Never mind. Good talk. Joyce it is. Good news. Oh. Shadows on the water. Green plants under the calm surface.
You're back. Good. What can I help you with? Not an umbrella, I hope. I don't need one myself, you see.
All around you, rain keeps falling down. On the wooden boards she's standing on, and on the water around you.
I could use a coat like that. The rain is freezing.
Sadly, I need this one myself. It's hydrophobic, repels water, almost magically. The company makes them for offshore platform personnel. Very sturdy. What I can do for you is answer some questions. Nothing like talking to pass a rainy day.
I spoke with the lorryman at the roundabout.
Yes, my eyes on the harbour have sent word to that effect.
Wait, where
What have you
exactly?
discovered?
Where exactly are these eyes?
It doesn't really matter. And I do apologize for the surveillance. Wild Pines can't afford to be blind at a time like this.
What should we put that point in? I'm actually feeling a little more Inland Empire.
In any case, it's a relief to know someone has looked into it. If I may ask, will there be an official investigation? I assume you discovered there is an operation.
If there is an investigation, it will be part of an ongoing operation, subject to confidentiality. I am sure you understand.
Of course, detectives. In any case, you've held up your end of our arrangement. I trust you with the rest. Now it's my turn. I wouldn't normally break protocol like this, but the situation demands it. If you don't solve this murder, I'm afraid we may have a bloodbath on our hands.
What was that about a bloodbath?
Yes. I'm afraid this strike may descend into a small-scale civil war, with possible consequences for all of Rivershoal West.
Since you are sharing, ma'am, This is also the RCM's worst-case scenario.
Then we're on the same page.
Tell
As grim
me-
as it may be.
Tell me again, how are the lynching and strike connected?
I have an indirect role to play, I'm sad to say. My employer experienced a momentary lapse of faith in me. In that moment, they elected to deploy a private military contractor as an insurance measure. They called it my security detail.
Do you need a security detail?
Absolutely not. These mercenaries are muscle, pure and simple. They are meant to intimidate the Union into surrendering.
Who are they, exactly?
Crenel, an Oranese military company. As far as I know, 3 arrived in Martinez. They report to me sporadically, but they do not answer to me. To be frank, our relationship is deteriorating.
So who are the other 2, though? I'm guessing one is the guy leading the scabs, but who's the other?
They wear ceramic armor, have semi-automatic weapons, and years of combat experience. They also have trauma and stressor disorder, and no idea how to conduct themselves in an urban civilian environment.
So, what happened?
The story is, one of them, the Colonel, I don't know his real name, sexually assaulted a local woman while he was drunk and separated from his unit. This allows some of the more militant Union members to subdue him. He was taken out behind the whirling in rags and lynched last Sunday night.
What then?
Nothing. Mr. Clare refuses to let me into the harbor. I have not been able to discuss this matter with anyone there. The remaining 2 Crenel contractors carry out their orders, for now.
For now.
It's a smokescreen. In secret, they are conducting an independent military tribunal into the lynching. Once this investigation is concluded, executions will follow.
What is the nature of this so-called investigation?
Whether to execute one, some, or all of the Union militants.
I have to say, this is not disco.
It is very far from disco. My only hope is that you provide a single, concrete suspect before the mercenaries indiscriminately pick theirs. Simply put,
She grabs hold of the mainsail.
if you don't pin this on someone good, and do it fast, they will identify and execute everyone present at the lynching. This in turn will force the Union to respond.
The Debardeurs have over 2,000 men. It will be 1,000 to 1.
Do they have any guns?
Have you ever seen a Hornet invade a beehive, Lieutenant? It's not pretty. These men work in tandem using semi and fully automatic firearms. Their armor is virtually impenetrable to muzzle-loaded weapons, even yours. Most Union workers don't have guns at all. As I said, a bloodbath.
See, Kim? This is the great bloodletting I've been telling you about.
It appears you found it, yes. And I'm not happy for you.
That's fair enough. Isn't this a pretty bleak scenario you're describing?
Many bleak scenarios have already come true. Nameless, badgeless detective of the citizens' militia. All we can do is keep the rest from going the same way. One single concrete suspect delivered into civil court, and I may be able to defuse this situation.
What can you tell me about Crenel?
Not much. Their public resume is relatively good, as far as private military contractors go. I believe they were once called Downwell.
Down a deep black well.
They boast a long list of clients. Saint-Baptiste, Welchman-Lorenz, Eendracht. A warning sign, however. The operations concerned all take place in third or fourth world countries. Guarding facilities, escort missions and such.
Meaning they're used to operating in war zones.
Yes. All the good conflict corridors, Supramundi, Yesut, the Seminese Islands, countries that don't have a good record reporting atrocious military conduct on their soil.
Okay. Anything else you got on them?
Sadly, no. Before this happened, I had little interest in them. Now that I do, I don't have the resources. If you still have access to the ICP's database, you could run a better background check than I ever could. It may take some time, though.
Do you know a lot about the inner workings of the RCM and the ICP, man?
In my line of work, it pays to do your research. I was prepared to deal with the RCM. I did not think I'd be dealing with a group like Crenel.
Could you contact the company? Tell them to call them off? Obviously not, but...
I have. And they will. However, these orders take time to reach what is basically a rogue unit out in the field here. Until they do, it's all on us.
She's being truthful. She is pressing them as hard as she can.
You said the deceased assaulted a woman?
Or he didn't. This is information passed on to me from some teenagers loitering around the canal. I cannot testify by it.
Who did the passing on, then?
The remaining contractors. Their tribunal. It's what they believe.
What did these teenagers by the canal say?
That the man was killed because he assaulted a local woman. I've asked around a bit. This seems to be the accepted story around Martinez.
The lieutenant consults his notebook, his eyebrows knitted in concentration.
Odd. We haven't heard any reports about an assault in connection with the lynching. Where did it take place? And when?
That's not true, though. We've been told this by several people now.
Last Sunday night, at the Whirling in Rags, the hostel by the gates. Supposedly, the colonel was drunk, maybe on narcotics too. Either way, he's alleged to have sexually assaulted a woman. Sometime later, a group of dock workers got their hands on him.
And who was this woman?
That's a good question, officer. I don't have the slightest idea. As I said, it's a rumor. About a rumor. In any case, it's what the colonel's remaining colleagues believe.
You meet her soon enough, you feel.
This colonel, the one who was hanged, did you know him?
If you mean did I see him alive? Yes. But I did not know him.
His name was...
Lely. His service name. A nom de guerre, most likely. He wouldn't divulge his full name. Only one of them did. A bad sign if there ever was one.
And tell me about the others first.
One is a man. Corty, they call him. A nickname as well. The other a woman. Phyllis DePaul. Corty is the gunner, I believe. DePaul is a radio operator.
What would you say was his eye color? The deceased.
She closes her eyes, trying to picture the man's face, then shakes her head.
I can't remember.
The lieutenant was testing her, asking a small detail first to see if she knew him better than she let on. She passed.
That's all right, man. Anything else? Nationality? What would you say was his age?
He was 40. Or 50. It's hard to say which. He had a combat injury on his lower jaw. It made it difficult to estimate his age, or gauge his facial expressions.
Indeed. This matches the dental reconstruction we saw on the body. What else? Nationality? Accent?
He was, Occidental, I think. Light brown hair, a mixed accent, Oranese, or Messinian, maybe. His injury gave him an accent all his own. In a way, it was humanizing. He had to learn to speak through it. Through the injury. That's all I know, I guess. I only met him once.
Where are the remaining 2 mercs now?
They've gone to ground, as it were. I don't recommend seeking them out. For one, they're almost certainly armed to the teeth. They don't have the same respect for the Revachol citizens' militia as I do. To put it bluntly, they think you're vigilantes. Ghetto savages. It will not be a fruitful meeting.
We still need to know where they are.
You're likely to run into them eventually. When that happens, I'll be in a better position to mediate if I don't appear involved.
Where are these mercenaries?
This is so embarrassing. You have no idea. There's something wrong with your brain. Luckily, the lieutenant still has his.
I've never been more disappointed in my life.
Ma'am, with all due respect, I've been around Martinez, and there's a giant hulk of a man in ill-fitting clothes at the harbor gates. Mr. Right to Work. His heart really isn't in it.
Not a terribly good actor, that one. Still.
And the other one, the Pole, must be in one of the 4-story buildings overlooking the roundabout. She was reporting back to you while we were canvassing the lorry drivers.
That would afford a good vantage point. Still, I hope you heed my advice. There's no need to kick the hornet's nest.
How much time do we have?
Until the executions start? Truthfully, I don't know. It depends on their progress identifying the members of the lynch mob. and their impatience.
They don't report their progress to you?
Not on this matter. I'm afraid they consider this a personal initiative.
5 days, not more. Maybe sooner.
It's a matter of days, not weeks.
That's enough for now.
I am sorry to have been the bearer of bad news. If there is anything else I can help you with, please ask.
Can you tell me about these tattoos?
Of course. Excuse my hesitation before.
She reaches over the guard wire and takes the photo, holds it in her hand.
For about half a minute, in silence.
It was taken with a Trigat not long ago. This is the man's upper body. There were no more markings on his hands or legs.
Observe.
Her mouth is relaxed. The accordion lines near her mouth vanish. The pearls of her eyes move slowly on the photo's surface.
What do you think?
Sorry. I was trying to see if I can read the web of interdependencies between these points. The stars. I can't. But that's how you read this story. The points themselves don't have letters, numbers, anything. Their size, location on the body, and distance from each other tells you what they represent.
Like stars in the sky?
Close. Port cities. This is an Oronese map of the waterways, a sailor's tattoo worn by wayfarers of the Dolorian century. Over 300 years ago, the sailors would mark their bodies to map their travel.
We have done a lot of leveling up. I guess we did just hand in like 3 quests. Let's do another logic. What is the use of this map?
The sailor's soul would use it to fly back home if they should die abroad. This is a sort of contraption to be reeled back in by. The silver cord, they would call it.
Where is he now?
I've spoken to him. For now, the soul is fastened inside his corpse.
That is precisely what the sailors feared when they drew these maps. A fear of drowning within one's own corpse.
I did not expect you to take that answer seriously, and that was immensely depressing that you did, actually. What travels did the dead men make?
Quite a few. Vredefort, the Oronese capital, traditionally stands on the right shoulder. He started somewhere near here, I think.
Harry, please, not in front of the screen, I can't see.
What next?
Then he made his way to the Pretto Grande, through what I think must be the Stutz Canal, an artificial channel through the Occident. From the Pretto, he sailed to the Insulindic Ocean, first the Semnes Islands, then this.
Then she points to his heart. What is that?
Revachol. Those are the 2 constants. Vredefort on the shoulder, and Revachol in the heart. They started the tradition of these maps right after the discovery of Insulinde, at the dawn of the Interinsulary Age.
The old world passing by, and the new world already here.
You said you can't read it.
I can't. This man was no sailor, and these are no ports. I can understand geographic fragments, but not their meaning.
In Martinez, looking into Krenel, he writes in one. Then the man puts down his pen and rubs his temples with both hands. Outside, there is a siren. Distant gunshots on the streets of the Jamrock Quarter.
This man is no brother of mine, but this is his service history.
That makes sense to me. We have no more use for a map of the waterways, just like we don't need sailors the way we used to. This is what the custom would morph into on the Occident. Mercenary tattoos.
For all the boys looking for adventure, a blood spatter on the seas.
Who could tell me more?
His platoon members? The other contractors. Though I do not suggest you go and show them that picture. This man was their friend and comrade.
I need the information.
Do what you have to do, detective. I don't think deciphering that tattoo should come before public security. But if you should wade into the mob to find out, I couldn't stop you.
We will be careful, Pat.
That's all for the tattoos. Thank you for your help.
Is there anything else I can help
That's
you
all
with?
for now. Okay, let's go see what's happening on the other side of the canal.
A rusting
Pull it.
control. You grab the handle and pull the lever up. As soon as the metal connects against the contact pins, you hear a loud clunk. Then, the water lock starts moving.
We did it.
Okay, if we ever need to get to the coast, then this is the way. But please, contain your wanderlust for now. I don't want us to get sidetracked, not with everything that's going on.
Focus on one thing, achieve it, then the next, he thinks. That's the task chain.
Don't worry, Kim, I'm way ahead of you. We've business over here. The radio relay hums with electricity. A breaker box to power the radio pylon above you. Maybe there's something inside. Oh, fuck yeah. Let's go. Ah! A creaking ahead, a broken axle grinding. I see. Tight. A bottle drained of all its booze is frozen to the ice.
This is it. The scene of the party. The fire pit. Cigarettes and empty bottles all evidence it.
Don't you mean the scene of the crime?
Not as such. I'm talking about what came after the party scene.
Sure does look like a lot of folks partied here.
Looks like they were here a while, judging from all the bottles. The sunken motor carriage provided them a focal point, like a goose ice sculpture or a chocolate fountain.
Hey Kim, looks like we've had a couple partygoers here.
Looks like it.
This was some kind of theater to them, a circus production by a great clown.
Hey, let's keep moving, detective.
Somehow, he doesn't want to dwell on it.
I'm calling my shot. This is our car, and that was us that did that. The ice just off the coast crackles, shifting.
A banged-up motor carriage lies half-submerged in the icy water, slowly sinking into the Insulindian Ocean. Only the cabin top, rear wheels, and the engine remain visible. It must be cold and lonely down there, in the icy water. Remember the tire tracks in Martinez? This is where they were leading.
This is where the tracks on the plaza were leading to.
It appears to be so.
The lieutenant has a peculiar look in his eye as he inspects the wreckage. Let's investigate.
I agree. We should definitely investigate.
You get a sudden, sinking feeling. Stomach acid comes up as you look at the motor carriage in the deep, dark, cold water.
Run your hand over the cold metal.
The motor carriage is properly stuck in the ice. Getting it out would require a team of specialists.
What is the make of this MC? Can I see a logo?
The logo is too deep in the murky water. You can't make it out, but you do see a monkfish float by.
Tight. How long has it been here?
The ice hasn't closed around the vehicle yet. My guess is it's been here since last Saturday or Sunday.
The estimate is correct. The incident probably occurred on Sunday evening.
Well, well, well. Looks like Jacob Iru's journey came to an abrupt end here.
Your mocking tone finds no response, but the motion of the waves.
Yet another case of the engine displacement triumphing over the driver's IQ.
Yes. Clearly, this is a triumph. I'd say the vehicle has been here since last Saturday or Sunday.
What should we do?
Let's wait for the low tide and see what's inside.
Great idea. Then we can get the things inside. The joyrider must have left something good inside. Guns, papers, maybe a cool jacket. A joyrider jacket.
Ooh. How long will it take for the low tide to come in?
I don't know. An hour or two, tops?
Alright, well, I guess we're waiting.
As you sit down in the old, rusty playground, the world around you becomes very silent. The hinges creak under your weight, dangerously so. Nothing but the sound of seagulls high above in the sky, echoing like distant laughter. Ice cracks around the blue motor carriage in the sea.
Whistle.
Spit flies from your mouth to your moustache, your chest, the ground before you. No sound though. The lieutenant must think it's rather funny. He smiles and quickly turns away.
Keep blowing.
That's right. Just keep at it. It will come to you.
He's gloating at you. Oh, it's so easy for Mr. Teacher. With his lips puckered, the lieutenant lets out a beautiful melodic trill that puts even the insulindic thrush to shame. You hear the sound echo on the large body of water. Clouds race across the spring sky, and suddenly you just feel better about everything. Okay, that's way better than what you did. The clouds pass in the sky, and the shadow of the swing moves like the hour hand on a timepiece. 30 minutes have passed. Looks like this might take a while. Time to present a good topic for discussion.
So was your dad also, you know?
I'm pretty sure I told you already, didn't I? My dad and mom are both half Seolite.
Oh, right.
Clouds on the horizon grow darker, and the shadow of the swing set keeps climbing. You hear the distant rumble of the city. 30 minutes pass.
If you have to side with either the strikers or the shipping company, who would you choose?
Luckily, I am already a member of an independent organization, and therefore do not have to choose between a rock and a hard place.
But if someone puts a gun to your head,
Your voice echoes on the water, strange and out of place in the environment. 30 more minutes pass.
can you make out the marquee now?
Detective, I've been able to make out the mark ever since we arrived. I find it odd that you haven't. It's a Coupri, Model 40. It is a simple and rugged machine, favored by working men, government offices, firefighters, animal control people. You know, those kinds of people.
Is that a number on the side?
Yes, 41. What do you think it stands for?
It's as if he knows what it stands for, but wants you to say it. It's pedagogical. Does he know something about the driver of this vehicle?
These are all good answers. I do find myself drawn to, oh god, no. 41 is his rank in the underground street racing hierarchy. Small fish, this one.
But it could also be the number of a police precinct. Precinct 41. Your precinct.
A massive pit opens up in your stomach, and the most terrible feeling comes over you. No. Just nope. Say no to this, Harry.
No. No.
Yes, your car is in the sea. Face it, so we can start dealing with this.
No, I mean, seriously, it's just a coincidence.
The lieutenant just shakes his head.
Oh my god, it's mine. I drove my car into the sea.
I'm afraid so, yes. It looks like you started in front of the whirling, jumped over the canal, and then drove your vehicle in the sea right here.
Maybe I was in pursuit of someone.
Of whom? I don't think so. If anything, you were probably drunk.
How do we get it out?
Detective, we don't. A rescue operation really isn't viable at this point.
So it's just gonna be there? Like that?
I'm afraid it will have to be there like that for many years. Look at it. Parts of it might be salvageable, but overall, this machine is a write-off.
I can still fix it.
That is very unlikely. All the electrics are toast. That goes for the electromagnetic steering and brake systems as well. You'd be lucky to find one undamaged component in there. In a few months, there will be nothing but rust left of this vehicle. It'll be cheaper to buy a new one. Well, not cheaper. This motor carriage costs 40,000 real. But in the long run, it still makes more sense to buy a new machine than try to refurbish this.
People are gonna be angry at me, aren't they? in Precinct 41.
Let's face it, this is a substantial loss to your district's budget. I mean, my station only has 4 other vehicles in addition to my kinema.
This was 20% of the station's vehicular budget.
They're not going to take me back after this, are they?
People are more valuable than machines. Training a police officer is even more costly.
The badge, the gun, and now this.
The lieutenant adjusts his glasses and doesn't say anything. There is also a 4th thing you've lost.
A 4th thing?
More precious than the gun. The
Spud,
badge
no, Spud.
and the motor carriage
Spud, stop.
combined. Lost forever into the deepest of seas.
Well, at least I can see what's in there now. Spud, no, stop, please.
Yes, let's go take a look.
Wait, doesn't the narrator usually read this? Spud, please stop. There's something loose on the microphone he keeps trying to pull off. And the little guy gets smaller and smaller as you rise above the dollhouse world. You see him there, in the snow, on the streets, in the shop on the corner, and finally, in a matchbox house, sitting by the window. White flowers on the windowsill. You can smell them from up here. It's awful. A white morning. A modern death. Divorce, or something similar. All you can do is put more distance between you and him. Make him smaller. Make him less you. Oh. Okay, I guess. That's something.
Motorway south. The lone vector stretches in your mind's eye into the wild pale yonder for an unimaginable distance, forgetting until you can no longer remember anything. No cities, no mountains, no oceans, and finally, no vector. Nothing remains. A blank space with no point of reference, where only one type of motion is possible. The motion of a human throat. Swallow in, and then it comes to you. To reach the end of the motorway south is to be unborn. You've had this thought before, while aimlessly wandering the streets of Jamrock. A lost piece of the man you were. A dark hope.
Okay. Cool. So, oh fuck, we can zoom way out now. Let's go. Hey, it's my badge. And a jacket. We did it. I didn't realize we could interact with this.
You take the legal documents out of the envelope. A 12 to 40 month construction period and the zoning plan in the addendum.
Look at the zoning plan.
The youth center cuts into the ocean like the bow of some great modern ship. Apparently, it's going to cover most, if not all, of the street and the square between the existing houses. It's 3 stories tall. It's going to be awfully close to the already existing buildings, almost wall to wall, practically integrating them into the youth center. This is either an ominous or cool architectural choice. Hard to say. My money is on cool. Looks like a cubic pyrite.
Kim, what do you think of this?
I'm no property lawyer, but it looks fine. I like the print size. They're not selling or leasing anything. It's not a perfect solution, but...
How else are you going to build something? It's always inconvenient to build things, and citizens inevitably have disagreements over such construction projects. But there's no other way.
I'm trying to find a loophole.
There is no loophole. The simple truth is, the current residents are going to lose their street access, and for the next 12 to 40 months, their lives will be dominated by constant construction noise right next door.
What are the ramifications of this?
Once the construction starts, it'll probably take a few months, a year maybe, for even the most stubborn occupants to get tired of living like this. After that, they'll sell their property for cheap and move out.
Look, Kim, these people are going to have to move away. Can we do something about it?
I should have seen it.
The lieutenant frowns as he reads over the document again.
Evrard probably has eyes on us, but we could try to get other people to sign this instead of those listed. Or you could forge their signatures yourself. By the time he finds out, we'll already be gone.
I see. We'll consider this. Now, my badge.
A police badge on which you see the photo of a man. You. Some seaweed is stuck to the back.
I found my badge.
At least something good came out of all this.
Study the badge.
Encased between two durable plastic sheets is a bluish card with lines of information and a watermark in the shape of the street grid of Revachol West. You see a photo, a name, a rank, a document number, the date of issue, and, in the lower right corner, your precinct.
Look at the photo.
The man keeps winking at you with his green-grey eyes. The photo is old, no doubt about that, but the badge is new. You used an old photo for a new badge. Good choice. A newer photo would look different.
How old?
8, maybe 10 years. The guy in the picture is rather good looking. He's got a nice haircut and is distinctly lacking in massive sideburns.
And he's winking. Why?
What do you think? His face is already contorted by the expression, although it looks less grotesque on him than it does on you now. It looks better on him because he isn't in as much pain while producing it as you are now. Although there's already a hint of that pain, certainly. Don't be fooled. The bad times have already begun. Wake up the past and tell it to stay away. The bad times are here to stay.
You guys are so cheerful.
The badge in your hand shines as you rotate it, catching light. You see lines of information on it, and a shining watermark.
Harriet Dubois.
Harrier, that's long for Harry. So you are Harry. Evrard was half right. Probably not a lot of people know your full name. Whoever told him you're Harry Dubois didn't.
What kind of name is Harrier?
It's a wartime name. Revolutionary. The kind mothers give their sons during troubled times. Like Undying or Boxer or Ironhide.
A name like armor.
But I don't want to be Harriet Dubois.
Why? It's a cool name. I like it. Besides, you're Harry anyway. No one's ever called Harrier.
The badge in your hands shines as you rotate it, catching light. You see lines of information.
Rank
Lieutenant W. Freighter.
What is a Lieutenant W. Freighter?
The lieutenant is a rank above sergeant and below captain. It's the highest rank in the RCM that still does field work. I am a lieutenant.
And double Defrutier?
The title of Freighter is added to your rank when you decline a promotion to a higher rank. In your case, captain. You have declined twice, thus you're double Freighter.
Declined.
There are many reasons one would do this. The rank above you in your precinct's décomptage might be taken, or sometimes promoted officers do not want to replace their superiors out of respect.
I just remembered we leveled up again. Let's do a composure. Maybe? Perhaps interfacing? No, that hasn't really come up very much. Let's do another rhetoric. That one's lagging behind a bit.
And sometimes they just prefer the type of police work available to their current rank. In your case, lieutenant.
What's a b?
Décomptage is the hierarchical system employed by the Revachol citizens militia. It means counting down to twos. The lowest rank is junior officer, usually teenagers. Then there are the patrol officers, then sergeants, lieutenants, and then a captain. That's basically it, except for a few kinks.
What kinks? Do go on. I'm interested.
Kings like satellite officers and the additionally a freighter rank I already explained.
Satellite officers?
You are given the title of satellite officer if your partner is quickly promoted through the ranks and you rise with him. You don't seem to be a satellite.
So you've been putting up with me because we're of the same rank?
No, I've been putting up with you because despite an unconventional approach, you are doing good police work. It matters more than driving your motor carriage into the sea. And now we've even found your badge.
He trusts you, for now. Try not to spoil it.
Okay.
Such a small yet precious thing. Expensive paper caught between thick plastic, like a fly in amber. It reads...
Serial, blah, 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 blah.
That's just the serial number. Revachol, Jamrock, Precinct 41, with some numbers thrown in there for good measure.
The numbers are not there for good measure. They have an administrative purpose. One that's unfortunately been erased from your memory.
Date of issue, 7th of November, 50.
4 months ago. I'm guessing that's when you were promoted to the rank of Lieutenant W. Freighter. A new badge usually comes with a new rank. You seem to have been doing well then.
You're pretty sure you weren't doing well. But better? Probably yes. A lot can happen in 4 months. Especially in winter. The winters are never easy on you. Of that you are sure.
Precinct 41?
Yes, it's the designation of your precinct. 41. Like mine says 57. The 57th is mostly industrial harbor. A lot of asphalt. The 41st is...
What?
It's a tough station to work in. You have all of Jamrock to cover. That district should have 3 precincts, but money is what it is. But then again, it's a legendary district, and a hell of a station too. It must be an honor and a curse to work with people like Price, McCoy, Berdiaeva.
He knew all those people, although they're not from his station. They must be big. The badge in your hand shines as you rotate
Put it away. Great. Good job, team. What's our current jacket doing? Suggestion and high flight minus? Let's put this on. Oh, it's so much less cool, though. Never mind. Alright. Now. Footprints in the snow. They lead away from the accident. There's a boat tucked away underneath the tarpaulin cover. Oh, a person. Didn't realize we'd have to go all the way around for this. A wetting stone, well worn and covered in rust. White curtains have been drawn shut, no looking in. Damn, we really had to go all the way around for this, huh? Oh. To what? You see dust-covered linens, dried tulips on a bed. I mean... I don't understand, but cool. Alright, let's start chatting up these people we don't know.